Fake is not a cult, but you can join for $2 a month and become a member and get all kinds of cool stuff. We are not a cult. We are not a cult.
Hey, sorry, didn't see you there. I was just doing something. Today we're talking about cult classic video games. What is a cult classic? Cult classic is usually something tied most commonly to movies where, when released, it was not very popular, but later on developed some sort of small cult like following. In terms of movies, you can think about The Room and how terrible that movie was, and it was panned upon release, but later on developed a small cult like following of people that just loved that movie to death. But we're going to take that in terms and talk about video games that were not very popular upon release, but are actually have some sort of small following today of people that just absolutely love them. So let's talk about those today. If you have one you think about, put it down below. Love to hear your suggestions. Okay? All right, the first one I'm going to talk about is one that people may not even know existed. It's one of those it had slight popularity when it released, but was kind of just faded away, even though there were two of them, and that's Beautiful Joe. Have you ever heard of Beautiful Joe? It's a game where a guy, his girlfriend gets sucked into a movie, and then gets into the movie and becomes a hero. Kind of, you can think of like a Power Ranger or something like that. And he has to go save his girlfriend. And it's just one of the most beautiful games for the time, especially. It was like cel shaded, movie style, like just beautiful, beautiful art style. Quick, fast paced gameplay, just like a beat 'em up style game. So if you love the arcade beat 'em ups, you'd love this, but it was on console. So it was still very difficult. It didn't eat your quarters, but it was definitely still very hard. I had a lot of trouble with it when I was a kid playing it. But man, this game was so much fun. It's so flashy, so funny. It's got a lot of quippy dialogue. It may be cringy at today's standards, but back then I found it very funny. It's just one of those games that most people didn't care about when it came out, but I think nowadays people look back at it and go, "Wow, this is a really fun, interesting, stylish game." That I think has developed its own small little following of people. I remember watching someone speedrun it at an AGDQ or SGDQ way back in the day, and people just being enamored with it and going like, "I love Beautiful Joe, I love it, I love it." So there's a small group of people out there, and that may be you watching this, that loves the Beautiful Joe games. I know I did. I really enjoyed it, and I need to go back and play it at some point because man, Beautiful Joe was fun. All right, I think people may know this one a little more, the next one, and that is Deadly Premonition. One that has become quite popular over the last few years for just its zaniness, off the wall, just ridiculousness, its terrible dialogue, it's just insane story. I think people have just come to enjoy it for what it is. And what it is kind of like a Twin Peaks style video game. It's very much in that idea. And I think it's because a Japanese company that made this, they did it with a "this is what we think America is like" ideology to it. And it's almost as if they've never been here. Probably not, who knows. But I think it's so funny to look at this game and think like they have no idea what America's like. But does it make for the one of the best games ever? Yes, it does. I love Deadly Premonition. You probably do too. And I think people came to understand what it was many years after its release. It was just not widely known when it first came out. But over the years, people, I think, have started to understand what makes Deadly Premonition so great. And it's just how ridiculous it is. It's just so much fun. Shooting zombies, crazy twists, all these little plot things going on. Like there's all these crazy characters. Again, the dialogue is just all over the place. It is just so much fun. And I can understand why it's developed the following it has ever since its release many, many years ago. Remember Psychonauts? That game was a lot of fun. I can't believe that people kind of missed the bus on this one because what a wonderful game it was. And I was one of those people. I didn't play it till many years later. I think I got it on like a Humble Bundle sale. And I just remember thinking, how have I not played this game? How did so many people miss this? And I started to realize why it's kind of gained the following that it did. Even got another game created many years later by Kickstarter, which that if that doesn't show that a game has a cult following in some way, raising that amount of money to get the game created certainly shows that. But Psychonauts 1 is just so beautifully done. It's so creative, it's so quirky, the humor's on point. It's done by Tim Schafer, who you may know from many games back in the past, like Monkey Island. Just an absolute blast to play, and I can completely understand why it has gotten this cult following that it does today. All right, this one is for me, and it was totally my choice. This is Harvester. And when this game came out in the 90s, it was widely panned for how gruesome and just off the wall and just not couth it was, how not PC it was. And this was in the 90s. They let a lot go. But this game did not fare very well, didn't do well with ratings and critics, and like just in general didn't do very well. Only to, recently, I think, maybe in the last few years, get some pickup, especially from like Let's Players and Twitch streamers that played this game and went on to subsequent FMV games. Harvester is just one of those wonderfully absurd experiments in just how crazy you can get with video games. It's a point and click FMV game. It's like recorded people, and then they just kind of pasted them in. They walk funny, they talk funny. The story is ridiculous. Everything about it is insane. But what a lovely game it is, and I can completely understand why many years later, again, people can understand the artistic choices in this game, as absurd as they may be, and are able to see Harvester for what it is, which is just a wonderfully absurd horror game that you just won't see these days. So if you have not played Harvester, you can go watch me play it on my channel. There's a playlist of it, or you can go play it for yourself because every playthrough will be different. So go ahead and go check it out if you want. Either way. Do you know what game I'm talking about when I do this? La 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 la. That's right, it's Kadar Damasi, a game that I think was too weird for people in America when it first came out. I think people looked at this game and were probably like, what is even going on here? This makes no sense. Why would I have fun rolling stuff up in a ball? It just does not look fun. So I don't think it did so well in the beginning, but has since gained a cult following. Even another one was made. Like many of these games, it seems like that small cult following can do a lot and bring you a second game. Kadar Damasi is a lot of fun, though. It is very strange, and it's one of those games where you look at it and I think you can immediately go, this is not for me, or I would love to play this. But with the crazy music and the visuals and just, it's almost like an acid trip at times playing this game. It is so much fun to play, and it's just so addicting. I didn't think it would be. And again, I'm one of those people, I feel like as I'm talking about this, I'm realizing I'm the cult members in all these. Like, I'm joining all these games way too late. But I promise I'm not addicted. Nothing's a cult. This is just a term used. Please don't hate me next game. All right, last one, and this one may be controversial. Some people may not like that I'm saying that this was a cult classic, but it is, and that's Earthbound. Surprisingly, I know, Nintendo RPG, you would think every Nintendo RPG was amazing and well received, but that's not the case. Earthbound was one of those that did not do very well because of its marketing, because of its style, and like what it was going for. People were looking for fantasy. This one was put more into reality in a way. It was based on like boogers and farts and like all these silly things that just kind of turned people off to the game. So it didn't do very well upon release. Cut to today, it is considered one of the best RPGs of all time by many. And it is. It's an incredible, incredible RPG. And I think that you're doing yourself a disservice if you've not played it. Is it a little weird compared to Final Fantasy or stuff like that? Yes. But is it worth diving into and playing through and just really enjoying? Yes. Become a part of the cult of Earthbound. I promise you will not be disappointed. Thank you for watching this video. I really appreciate you. If you have any other suggestions for cult classic games that I may have missed, and I definitely missed a lot, put them down below and let me know. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you for watching. Always enjoy doing these. Taking a break next week because I'm going to be on vacation, so no green screen video next week, something random probably. But I hope you enjoyed today's video. I'll see you in the next one. Subscribe. I love you. Bye-bye.